Hi everybody, welcome to this unboxing of the Revell 59 Cadillac Eldorado hardtop in 1/25th scale. Now, this is a kit that I've built in its convertible form a couple of times. First of all, when it came out in about 1992, and then again last year I did the convertible again. And the convertibles build up to make a gorgeous model, they really do. So I was very keen to try the hardtop version and see how that would turn out as well. So this is under the California Wheels brand from Revell, and is as far as I know, a reissue of the hardtop that they made in the mid 1990s, many years ago now. These were really quite detailed and impressive kits back in that time. I wouldn't say they were groundbreaking, but in terms of the detail they crammed into a 50s car, they were very good. So on the box we have possibly a slightly photoshopped image of the assembled model. On the side here, in typical Revell US style, some information on the real car and a paint guide. The same image on the box ends, and then on this side of the box, detail shots of the finished model, which they've finished in a kind of a turquoise green colour, which has got a sort of a 50s Miami flavour to it, I guess. If you look at the engine bay there, you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the detail they built in. That air conditioning system and the way everything fits in there with the aircon compressor, everything wedged into place just like it would be crammed in under a car bonnet, car hood. Looks really good. Okay, so let's see what they give us in the box and how does it compare with the convertible. I imagine it will be much the same. Okay, so first of all we have here a tree with the body in. Now I have a confession to make. I took this out of the box and found that when I've been transporting this kit, somehow or another the roof had become squashed over to one side. Don't know how much that's showing up on camera, but the windscreen pillar there is pretty much vertical and this one is bent over towards the centre of the car. So I've done my best to straighten that out, but I don't want to do that at the risk of breaking it. So it might have to wait until when it comes to assembly, putting the windshield in, maybe just try and get it into a, get it straightened up then at that point. Anyway, the body itself, really nice. It's, pretty clean. Again, this is a 20 odd year old kit. So yeah, it's stood the test of time fairly well. I'm not seeing a lot of flash on there. No nasty sink marks or anything on the exterior of the body. Decent detailing. One thing you'll notice is this, I don't think it says it on the box, but this appears to create one of the top of the range editions of the car. And so it has these chrome mouldings down the rear fenders, around the rear end and along the sills, which means that this will always be an Eldorado. If you wanted to make a coupe de Revell or something without those, you'd want to find some way of removing those mouldings. But nice body, like it. In the same poly bag, we have the base for the interior, which has got textured carpet, and the rear seat base. We then have the interior side panels, which are nicely detailed there with the material on the side panels, door lock pins, the armrests and so on, various switches for windows and such. Nicely done. That's the front of the back seat, and that 59 Cadillac dashboard, which really can't be mistaken for anything else. Quite a lot of detail there. And yeah, there's, I'm not sure if that's coming across on the camera, but there's moulded in detail there for instrumentation, and the passenger side too. Okay, what else we have? If I can wrestle this out of the bag. Come on. Okay, the hood with the Cadillac emblem moulded on the front of it, and then pieces for the front seat. In fact, I think actually that's the rear seat back. Not sure what I was looking at before. Yeah, front seat assembly, sun visors, and then interestingly we have the hard cover for the convertible roof, which I suppose is just carried over from the convertible kit. In this bag we have the huge wraparound 59 Cadillac windshield, again with visors moulded integrally, so those separate visors might not be required. Numerous lamp glasses there for the numerous front end lights. I think that's a screen wash reservoir there just on top of my finger, and we've got the rear screen as well, which of course we didn't have in the convertible kit. Well, there was a rear screen, but it was for the convertible top rather than hardtop. Okay, let's see what else is in here. Wow, okay. Nice independent rear suspension and part of the axle. Large one-piece base and chassis. Really nicely detailed actually. An awful lot of very crisp detail in there with cross members, outriggers, floor pan mouldings. Very nice. Tyre white walls. Cool. Front axle, fan, differential, shocks. One-piece exhaust mouldings right from the front of the engine through to the back with both sets of silencers and the downturned pipes, each of which has a divot in the end, which you can paint black to make it look like a tube, drive shaft, prop shaft rather. And then we've got engine and transmission halves, heads, valve covers, intake manifold, sump, A-arms, air cleaner assembly, front of engine assembly. Here we've got radiator parts, radiator shroud there that all goes together, separate battery, wheel backs, and then some of the real nice engine bay details here. We've got, I think, probably heater and brakes under there with tubing, air conditioning pipe work there. A little bit of flash on some of that, but nothing really to get in a sweat about. Horns and various engine pumps and motors. Okay, what next? We've got a very, very nice clear red sprue. So this is for the circular rear lamps. And we've got those famous 59 Cadillac bullet-shaped tail lights as well. And we have clear red pieces for the interior door warning lamps. Excellent. Okay, tyres. Tyres are very 50s looking cross plies with that distinctive pattern. A few flash mouldings here you want to get rid of, and on this side as well, obviously the cutout for the plastic white walls that we saw earlier on. And there's some detail there as well, which is difficult to make out because it's so small. In my old age, my eyes are failing me, but there is some sort of detail on there. Not full tyre size detail, etc. though. Okay. Last for the plastic, what do we have? We have a chrome tree, and being a 59 Cadillac, there's plenty to it. So we have that unmistakable 59 Cadillac front grille, bumper and lamps assembly in one piece. Very nice detailing here. We've got the scuttle where the wipers sit and the air vent in chrome as a piece to fit separately. Tail light and bumper assembly there again in one piece. That's looking good. Very deeply detailed Cadillac wheel discs there as well. Looking very, very good indeed. Separate windscreen wipers. Rear seat speaker and trim piece. More lamp pieces. Carburetors and engine bay ancillaries. Horn ring for the steering wheel. Fin side spears. Various other trim parts. That all looks pretty good. So let's see what else we've got then. We have the instructions here. So, bit of information, bit of bump on the real car. Which apparently, the Cadillac Seville, which apparently is what we have here, was the top of the line and the most expensive at $7,401. Okay, there we go. So we kick in with the paint guide and parts list. We'll take a look at this in a moment. And then we're straight in with engine assembly. Engine and transmission halves go together. Intake manifold, carbs, headers go on, front of engine goes on. Nothing really unusual about it apart from the amount of detail there is. So for example, the air conditioning compressor has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to assemble it. And then that goes together with yet another piece here as well, which looks like it might be an oil reservoir or something, I'm not too sure. There's a lot of detail there. Air suspension, airbags, they go in. Exhausts go on. Suspension sub-assemblies go together and go on chassis. And then engine goes in. Wheels and tyres go together and they go on. The interior sub-assembly goes together. Interestingly, they're telling us to paint those light lenses transparent red. They are in fact already red, so I don't think we need to do that. There's a painting and decal guide for the dashboard, instrumentation and so on. Seats go together and go in. And then the glazing and the interior tub go into the body, pretty standard stuff. More engine bay ancillaries and details go in. Those big sub-assemblies go together. Radiator goes in, yet more engine bay pieces go in there. There's a lot in that engine bay. That is very, very detailed. And after that, we are looking into yet more engine bay pieces. Crumbs. That big front end goes together with the lamp glasses and goes on. Same at the rear end. Lots of bright work for those fins and so on. And then the hood goes on together with final pieces of trim. And then we have a exterior decal placement guide. Okay, cool. So, what's on the decal sheet? This is a modest decal sheet, really. There are a few bits and bobs for instrumentation. What looked like decals for the wheel cap centres, a couple of emblems, and then those chrome pieces on the outside of the body that make it the top of the range car are presented as silver decals. So please note, if you built the original 1990s issue of the 59 Cadillac from Revell, you would have been given self-adhesive chrome foil to replicate those chrome pieces. With this issue of the kit, you don't get that. You get these silver decals, which I don't think will be as convincing. So when I build this, I'm probably going to look for some other way to replicate those chrome pieces, those chrome trim pieces. There we go. There it is. That is the Revell 59 Cadillac Eldorado hardtop in 1/25th scale. Thank you very much for watching.